Survivorland. Did you guys catch episode 5 last week? I love when we get to episode 5, 6, 7 because the trajectory of gameplay really starts to take shape, and castaways who have been sort of hanging out in the background start to emerge. See what I did there? And my favorite player that sort of came out of the woodworks last week, Jeff. Sometimes things are meant to be on Survivor, and in other instances, other people's moves help your game without them even knowing that they're actually helping your game. So Rob and Nathan end up sitting out of the reward challenge next to each other, looking like the cutest little couple, I've got to say. And of course, they're not just hanging out observing. They are properly conniving. The bromance is still real, so, the flame hasn't died. But they end up sort of negotiating, okay, if we have to send someone, who do we send? And Mike's name, I think, is thrown in there. And of course, Jeff's name is thrown out there. In the end, they end up sending Jeff to the Island of Secrets. When Jeff was exiled and then had to return back to his tribe, he did what every super fan wanted him to do. He lied. So clap, so clap, so clap, so clap. Jeff had some choices. You can do A, you can do B, whatever. But there was a jar of candy that he chose. And he did it for sort of selfish reasons. I mean, let's be honest. I can relate to just wanting something sweet while you're there because of the energy boost and, well, because you get to chew. But he got back to his tribe and really twisted it into, guys, I did this for you. I did this for us. I had opportunities to further myself in the game and I declined it because I just believe that I'm here for all of us and blah, 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 blah. That's going to hold him in good stead. I still think that maybe people don't fully trust Jeff, but he hasn't ruffled too many feathers yet. I just think that he's done something that people are probably a little bit uncertain about, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But it's sometimes those small moves in Survivor that end up pushing you a long way. So another player that I thought was an emerger from last week's episode was Meryl. And she's kind of growing on me, I think, a little bit. I loved that she was so observant because in the game of Survivor, often the devil is in the details. She's clearly watched the show enough times to know that at a reward challenge or any kind of celebratory feast, you need to keep your eyes peeled because some kind of an advantage might be hidden. So she spots a clue and realizes that she can't quite get it on her own. So I commend her for quickly soliciting Dante's support and saying, okay, listen, I'm going to let you in on something. We need to get that clue. She facilitates some kind of a distraction for the other tribe members, and they end up as a team, I think, working very well together, retrieving the clue. So yay for that. But then it turns out that the actual idol is hidden at the immunity challenge under a table in a corner somewhere, and Meryl has to very strategically retrieve it without really being seen, which is always difficult. And there were some onlookers. Now, the onlookers were really created because Jacques, by the way, my MVP from the last 2 episodes, Jacques claimed that he could do this shuffle puzzle thingy-majiggy in 90 seconds. And I think like 4 hours later, we were still watching Jacques trying to solve this puzzle. And unfortunately, as much as I wanted Jacques to be the hero and like pull through, he didn't. And he was a little bit stubborn about it. So I think Jacques caught himself in a bit of hot water because his teammates were very frustrated with his, he was quite controlling and with his dismissiveness. I have a specific issue with people on the island who are dismissive of others. So I could understand why his tribe might be a little bit frustrated. But this put Meryl in a particularly precarious position because now how does she find a way to be quite snake-like and in a slick way retrieve the idol. So people saw her do it. Okay, fine, cool. You caught me grabbing something, but nobody knew what she grabbed, right? She could have made up a myriad of excuses or reasons or whatever. She could have said something like, you know what, guys, I actually, at the corner of my eye, I caught like something and I needed to see what it was. I was trying to be inconspicuous, which I didn't really succeed at, so I grabbed this thing. But all it said was that there's an advantage in the game that can only be used after the merge. And if I don't make the merge, I can gift it to someone. I don't know. That's just one example of something that maybe she could have said because it would have been an incentive to keep her around, right? But no. Here we go again, guys. Another group idol. The season 7 cast is killing me with these communal idols. I don't understand why we're broadcasting this. CNN, BBC, ENCA, Al Jazeera, everybody knows about these idols. And I understand Meryl thinking, oh, let me just, let them know I have it because I'll earn some trust. Well, you know what? Paul's view was very similar. Paul was like, let me just, here, Rob, you wear the idol so you feel safe so that you trust me. And where's Paul now? Murder, she wrote. So I'm really, really struggling to understand this communal idol thing. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Durao is interesting to me because I think he was a little bit clumsy in the last episode. So he's created this fake idol that nobody believes is real or even exists. But then he's having a conversation with Felix and he says to Felix, no, I'm worried, hey. I'm really worried, hey. Like, I'm going home tonight. I think I'm going home tonight. Oh, but I have an idol. But I'm going home tonight. But I have an idol. But yes, I'm stressed, guys. I'm going home tonight. No, you need to pick a struggle. It was an entertaining attempt at making a move, but that is not what saved Durao from being voted off. Felix, or as I saw on Twitter, Felicia, was really the one that dug his own grave. Being critical of your tribe in the middle of a challenge on a public platform in front of all the other tribes is never ever a good idea. You should always come in with, a very unified spirit. Although I appreciate his frustration, the one thing that'll dig your grave every time on the game of Survivor is when you start to irritate the people that decide your fate. And he got under their skin and they had to let him go. And I don't really blame them, but let's just be clear, it wasn't Durao that saved himself. And then he loses the fake idol in the ocean. Felix starts to pick up some vibes at the tribal council ceremony because I think it was a little bit obvious because they were laying on that, let's comfort Felix thing quite thick. And I think it was led by Sipe and Tanya. I'm loving this whole mature Tanya. I mean, isn't she so cute when she's really being quite reasonable? I really enjoyed watching her last week. And the two of them spearheading, this blindside with the help of Jacques and obviously Durao and his fake idol, I thought was masterful because Homeboy did not see that one coming. Sometimes I think that the audience is the one that kind of, gets shocked, but we were in on the blind side, but was still really, amazed at how well they did it. It was, that was one for the book. So bravo, guys, bravo. Thursdays, 7 p.m. on Mnet, or on Sundays, I think there's a repeat, but anytime on Catch Up, make sure that you do not miss the next episode of Survivor SA. It just keeps getting better and better. I can't wait. Talk to you guys next week. Bye.